Round 2. Fight!
Next up, I had to do something about the crevices on this thing. The little spider holes. Things get into it quite easily. You don't even know they're there because it's on the bottom. So how was I going to seal up these gaps? I can seal up this small gap no problem with some of that expander foam. As for the big section here, not sure what I was going to do with it. Any leftover expander foam? Check out some of the wet rot here. This was how it was about 20 years ago. Thankfully it stayed like this. I'll try and seal it up a little bit with paint. I never painted the inside of the cabinet, which was a bit of a mistake. I probably should have. Now, to make the cabinet a bit more mobile as well, I had a few of these mattress wheels hanging around in the garage. They don't make the cabinet too tall, they're just the right height. The cabinet doesn't roll away when you play it because it's got weight behind it, and it pretty much only moves when you want it to move. Next thing was to try and seal up some of this horrible wood with whatever paint leftovers I had, and as you can see, well, it doesn't matter if it's a mess on the bottom, on the inside nobody's going to see it. I wasn't exactly going to go out and buy new paint, so I was using whatever scraps I could find. Now the big thing that I wanted to do was paint the wood on the inside of the cabinet. Why? Because this is old wood, and what would happen during summertime is it would stink. So I heard that if you paint over this kind of wood, that you can kind of seal in the rot, and the smell isn't really going to escape. We'll give it a try, we'll see. Now this is the original glass that came with the cabinet, still going strong. Now this was some sturdy glass, thick, look at that. And this is also the original piece of wood that was around the original monitor. Look how badly this is cut. That's not any kind of shape. And it's just a random sort of curve there. Look at that. Clearly, if they were going by some kind of stencil, they didn't really care if things were straight. Just the mind boggles with shapes like this. Okay, for the section above the control panel, I thought this was a nice little texture here, 3D sort of a texture. We'll reskin that top part, no spray glue this time, just good old super glue, and bang, looking good. Okay, so here's the new coin slot, straight from eBay, very cheap and mass-produced sort of piece here. You can hook it up, I don't think I will. I don't know, I was kind of expecting a piece that was made out of metal. Check it out, that looks like the sight of an M41A pulse rifle from the movie Aliens. This is where it was going to go. Now again, you could recall that my woodworking skills are absolute crap. I don't have the appropriate tools, so we're going to wing it. We're going to go guerrilla style. I've got a drill. I'm going to do some cutting with the drill. Wish me luck. Now I'm sure I'm doing all kinds of woodwork no-nos here, please forgive me. If it works, it works. More holes, and some more holes, to the point now that we can just push the wood out. Sawdust, should not have done that, never mind. Dramatic, yes. Okay, here we go, fitting the piece in, and as you can see, it fits in beautifully. And hoping that the scrappy sides are going to be covered up here. Here we go. Once it's cleaned up, this is what it's going to look like. So we just screw some bolts in. Beautiful. And I'm quite happy with it. So you'll notice that I didn't have a coin chute before. Well, now I do. And I like the way it looks. I'll just have to replace this blue insert token sticker at some point. Let the games begin.
Round 1. Fight!
Here we are looking at the inside of the cabinet. That's the back of the speakers. Now as you can see, check out these little holes. One hole there, one there. Little sections, little tiny little crevices where bugs and crappy Aussie spiders live. So we're going to seal up these holes, and there's the expanding foam. Once it dries up, we just cut away the excess foam. Same with the top here. Looks like I've got a pork bun shoved in the speaker hole. And sealing up some more crevices in here. Looks a bit dirty, a little bit messy, but don't worry, we'll trim that stuff up. A nice Stanley knife and a bit of paint. Alright, let's start repainting some of that old wood. I've got a oil-based paint here that I found. Again, I'm trying to save money here, so whatever I've got lying around, I'll use. And this wood here, this wood was just soaking up the paint. Type of wood that it was. These are original wet stains from the 90s, ladies and gentlemen. This is the bottom of the cabinet again. So with the rest of my foam spray, let's see what we can do here. Yeah, look at all this ectoplasm everywhere. It's ectoplasm, I swear. This section here doesn't have to be as neat and tidy as the other sections because nobody's ever going to see this. It's a little bit of a deterrent for bugs because we don't have those little sections on the side of the wheels now exposed. Whatever, it's my paranoia. And that little section underneath, well, that's nicely all sealed up. As you can see, we just cut away the excess foam here. Very nice. Looks like cheese. And then the remainder of the air holes we get, we'll also seal that up with gap sealer. Here we go. And a bit of gap sealer all throughout. And these are all the offcuts from the expandable foam. A lot of cutting. So here I am painting the inside of the cabinet. Sure enough, I lucked out and found half a can of house paint. This chunk of cardboard here is pretty much the back of the cabinet. Originally I had to cut the back of the cabinet out just to fit in the old computer monitor. But now that we're using smaller monitors these days, I can actually seal up the back of the cabinet. The fact that the cardboard isn't a heavy chunk of wood also helps. And here it is, nicely painted up.